Henry V. Jardine, the United States Ambassador to Mauritius and Seychelles. His Excellency is a distinguished member of the U.S. Senior Foreign Service, holding the rank of Minister Counselor. Over his illustrious career, he has served in critical roles, including, just bear with me, there's a lot. Director of the Office of Career Development Assignments in the Bureau of Global Talent Management, Acting Director and Principal Deputy Director for the Bureau Overseas Building Operations, Management Counselor at the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok, Thailand, Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy in Tirana, Albania, Consul General in Calcutta, India, and many other pivotal assignments globally. With such great, extensive experience and a steadfast commitment to diplomacy, His Excellency has been instrumental in strengthening international relations and fostering collaboration. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Henry V. Jardine.
Robin, thank you very much for that very kind introduction. You built up expectations so high. I hope I'm able to meet them in my actual remarks. But no, again, it's wonderful to be here. Again, the President of the American Chamber of Commerce, Robin Lama, thank you very much for your introduction. To the board members and members of the American Chamber of Commerce, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to be here. It's very exciting, and again, as Robin said, today's event, this second edition of the Business Climate Index, is the result of a conversation we had earlier in my tenure when I raised this idea with Robin. I thought that it would be very helpful for us to have an understanding of what are the opportunities and challenges for the AMCHAM members here in Mauritius to be able to develop a tool that would be an instrument in not only giving information to other businesses that might be interested in working here in Mauritius and allow us to sort of highlight the opportunities, but also be a tool that would allow us to engage with leadership and policymakers here in Mauritius and highlight where they're doing very well and highlight where there's other opportunities to improve, where they need to focus and to think about how do they create a climate that really welcomes business, supports business, and builds that commercial relationship between Mauritius and the United States. I was fortunate today in having my introductory meeting with the new Prime Minister, Dr. Yamin Ramgoolam, and it was a very productive, very positive meeting. And one of the things I really highlighted to him as a key pillar of our relationship between Mauritius and the United States, I really see the economic, trade, and commercial relationship as instrumental. And I think many of you heard me speak before in the past, and we talked about the elements of our relationship, and a key component of that is really the trade and economic piece. It's what matters to so many people. It brings fundamental value and livelihood to the lives of so many people. And so it's critical that when we think about how do we add substantive value to the bilateral relationship, where do we want to focus? I think it's the commercial economic piece. And it's through this kind of instrument, this climate index, business climate index, that we really get a sense in a quantitative way of what we need to be focusing on. And so with a new government here in Mauritius that's focused on trying to see how they can enhance and develop the commercial trade environment, I think they really can see this as a useful tool. And so I think the timing for the release of this is actually very good. And it's also, I think, again, an indication of just how valuable, important, and significant the relationship is between the embassy and the AMCHAM, the American Chamber of Commerce. And it's great to see so many of you out here because it reflects on how you see the value in this partnership. And it's over this past year, we've really seen some great opportunities to build that relationship. And I really want to thank Robin and the AMCHAM board for your willingness to really step up and be part of that partnership. We've had some great interactions. Prosper Actor was here. They brought business representatives in the areas of financial services, manufacturing, and they did see the potential. We understand through the conversations with them that they are already seeing some of those connectivities with different companies that the delegates that came out here had engaged and met and have now developed and very much so also coming off of the business summit that we had in August, where we had 11 different businesses with various representatives, plus 5 U.S. government agencies, and then local partners here on the ground. So we only had 300 delegates participating in that summit. And as a result of that, again, we did see business connections in areas of health, biopharma, financial services, as well as renewables. And we're seeing that continued dialogue is happening. And it's important, it's not easy. I think many of you know that in order to develop that relationship between U.S. businesses and Mauritius, it's a bit of a marketing process because from the U.S. perspective, Mauritius is far away, it's a small market. They have to understand what are the opportunities and potentials here. And through these exchanges, they're starting to see those opportunities. One, Mauritius has good infrastructure, good connectivity, good environment for business, legal process or legal structure that's more favorable for business. It's not perfect, as we'll see through the climate index. There's more that can be done, but the conditions here do benefit for businesses to have a presence. And so, again, a lot of that activity over the last year would only be possible because of the great support that we had from AMCHAM. And I really want to thank you, Robin, and the board for your leadership, your support and commitment to that effort. So I'm hoping, again, that this climate index will be seen as a tool that will help in shaping the strategy, the ideas, the approach, the policies of both the government here in Mauritius and through the United States government on how we can enhance and develop the commercial relationship. And I think it's also important now, even more so, that we have an opportunity to compare data across years. And so we can make a good comparison. Last year was the baseline of what we saw the conditions here in Mauritius to be. We now have another year on, the additional data points to see have things gotten better, have they gotten worse, what has been the perception of the business community here in Mauritius. And so I'm looking forward to future indexes, again being able to show trend lines. And I'm hoping that as those trend lines develop and that the awareness of this index grows, it will become something that policymakers will look at and say, okay, how are you doing? And in effect become a bit of a scorecard and something that the business community can use as a way of incentivizing policymakers to make the right decisions and to do the right thing. By saying, look, over the past year or the past couple of years, we've seen this aspect of the business environment getting worse or getting better, and that it would be great if you could respond to this and offer those policies, and the business community can then offer the policy solutions that the policymakers then can adopt to try to be responsive to the concerns and issues that you see. So I think there's a great value. It's wonderful to see this continue to grow. It's wonderful to see the efforts. And I want to thank you again for your commitment to support for this and doing the analytics. And AMCHAM's support is great. And again, thanks to all the supporters who made this evening's event possible. We couldn't do it without you. And I really appreciate the wonderful partnership that we have with all the sponsors and with our American Chamber of Commerce. So thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for sharing such insightful perspective and for your unwavering support of Mauritius. Ladies and gentlemen, as we transition into our next segment of the evening, it's time to focus on numbers, trends, and strategies that shapes our business landscape. It is my distinct honor to introduce Mr. Maurice Info, a visionary leader and a driving force behind the analysis group of companies. As the founder and CEO of Analysis Kantar, Mr. Maurice has built a reputation as a pioneer in market research, strategic insights, and innovative solutions. Under his leadership, the analysis group of companies have grown to encompass not only market research, but also advanced academic institutions and cutting-edge software development. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Maurice is dedicated to fostering meaningful collaboration and promoting sustainable growth across various sectors. His expertise has earned recognition on both professional and international platforms, inspiring countless professionals and entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Mohammad Murad Singh to the stage.
Numbers at home and won't be that boring. I'll try to see if I can see them without I've got a copy here. Okay, this year we rejoined the AMCHAM Business Index, and as presented last year, it's a framework where we have, it's a synthetic indicator. The first main indicator is a synthetic indicator. It's, I try to not to use technical words. It's an aggregate of the average indexes across the different measures, and we have three main sectors, or categories. The first category that we use is business climate factors. I will spare you going through the list. Then the second category is government policies. And this one, I'll ask you when you have the book in hand to go in detail in it. And then the third categories of questions that we've asked for this index is economic performance. And this is where we lag behind. Last year it was not very good, and this year some of the indicators have got worse. So we'll go through rapidly for it. I won't bore you for the rest of the time. So, in terms of methodology, how we did it, the sample size this year, similar to last year. Last year we had 204, this year is 201. The period we did it was in June. It was exactly 1 week before the budget speech, and it spanned like 2 weeks after the budget speech. So I would say we don't have the real impact of the budget speech in the current report. And we covered all the sectors in Mauritius. It's a representative sample. When you go in the report, you'll see the spread of the sample. So, how was the index? How did it perform? Fortunately, you can say it has grown, but still, it hasn't exceeded the, I would say, 50 level of the index, because it's over 100, so we got still a long way to go. And we'll go in details rapidly afterward in what constitutes that. We have two main indexes. The first one is a business index, and the second one is an overall indicator. The overall indicator is people assessing directly the business climate. The other one is a synthetic indicator averaging all the different indexes. So we can see, again, it moves slightly, but still below the 50 level mark. So there's much effort to pull this, I would say, indicator up. And all through the report, you'll see the details of how and what strategy we can use to push up, I would say, the business dynamism and the economic dynamism of the country. So, this one, I can't see anything on this one, I need to use here. So we have different sectors, and we'll see that there are some sectors that have grown and some sectors that have dropped. The sectors that have grown are basically real estate activities and construction. I don't know if you've seen the amount of infrastructure and construction going on. And the special focus of, I don't know if we are representative of EDB, we put in the report with regards to real estate activities and other facilities. And then these are the two main sectors that have really grown in terms of the indicators, what they mentioned. And unfortunately, we have one that is quite important to us, which is human health. The health sector has been the sector that has been having all sorts of hassle, all sorts of corruption, and we can say it because we have some of the previous government members competing with operators. So they literally block some projects from the sector. The other sector, and we were talking quite extensively prior to this, is our logistic, transportation, and port infrastructure, which, from what I've gathered today, our port is only operating less than 20% of its capacity. Imagine for a country like that, and we are in November, we are supposed to be in the peak period and having this type of pressure on the operators. I'll spell you this one. I've already spelled this one. No, move forward, this one. Yeah, this one. So when we look at the different indicators, we can see that corruption level has dropped, but when you go in details, you'll see that some sectors are really over-affected by this, especially construction, real estate, even though they've progressed in their way of mentioning it. But even in their progress, they are still at below 40 or around 40. So in terms of index for this sector. So these are particular focus that we need to address, sectors that we need to address. Monopoly and unfair competition. I just mentioned one example within the health sector. This one has slightly dropped, but the sector that has most people have anticipated and had already mentioned that there's a political climate, internal political climate, and we've seen it that due to the election, they've eased many, I would say, facilities for businesses, but also as other, I would say, parties were more present, people felt already that the political climate was improving. And then the West is like negligible in terms of development. This one. Government policy rating. So here we'll concentrate on the two that really need major improvement. The relationship with ministries. This has really degraded. And it was just above 50, and now it's just below 50. I put it 50 on 0, but it's just below 50, rounded up to 50. And the other one that is going down is relationship with local government. So we have a major issue with businesses when they're dealing with government, when dealing with, especially to have license, renew the license, and all this, I would say, red tape that has been put in place, and that really not helping businesses. The one that has really grown is relationship with the tax authorities. Very interesting. So they've really improved the way we can pay our tax, and in the near future with e-invoicing that goes directly to the MRA, you'll be paying automatically your VAT similar to the pay what you're paying. So we no longer, I hope we don't have accounting because guys, in the near future, they won't need any, how to say, people to go through your accounts to ensure that everything is fine, because they'll have everything directly on their servers. So that's the scary part for what is coming in the near future. But they're doing a quite good business. I can't see that. Next slide, please. So, economic performance. This is, I can't see the, so one of the KPI that has really dropped is demand for local business. We've seen that some of the businesses are more and more complaining. We've got that euphoria after COVID, the recovery, anything like that. But this year we're seeing, like, because of the price increase, because of the inflation, we are seeing across many categories, especially food categories, there's a pressure in food categories and the volume are decreasing. Since the beginning of this year, the volume is decreasing. Price has been increasing. You've seen even the level of promotion has been decreasing. And the profitability of this organization, or all these organizations, especially the retailers, some of the big major retailers, have got record profit because they are selling less products but at higher prices and making record profit. So this is one of the things that is happening, but it is influencing. It is a short-term one because we've seen that the volume in terms of importation has dropped and the sales also has dropped. So it's a very short-term, how we say, tactics, and we see in Europe they started to reduce prices because prices were having put too much pressure and the consumer has stopped literally buying some of the categories. So this is one of the limits that we need to see. We hope by next year this will change. I hope that the 14 months will help businesses, but with a problem we have at the port, we might have money, but we don't have product in-house for market in the near future. That's a concern that I have currently. So, employment, labor. So we see also employment in Mauritius has gone down. People are recruiting less. And I think with the business community, I don't need to tell you that why people are recruiting less. Because of all the pressure that has been put on the market in terms of increase of salary, but also in terms of other prices. So these are two things that the worst performing across the whole KPIs is the labor, still like last year. Is a little bit, well, local qualified labor. This is the lowest rated that we got. This year also, last year it was at 37, this year it's at 28. And still very low. So we got a major issue in terms of labor. And, well, they've eased a bit for imports of labor, but still we need to find new strategies to automate and get more people from abroad, Madagascar, from other come and help us work. Okay. That's all, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maurice, for such an insightful presentation that was really detailed, that is very thorough. So thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation. And now let's move on to the next part of this event. Is we're all here for this, which is the book launch. And I would like to invite His Excellency to come to the stage to unveil this book right now. And together with, I would like to invite Mr. Ravin Lama as well for this. Let's give a round of applause.
AMCHAM board members of the